Hello everyone, David here. A few days ago, I was watching the GDC talk of Anthem audio system. In the middle of the talk, they mentioned about the falling and landing mechanic, which really catches my eyes, and I feel that it's a pretty fun challenge for me to see if I can bring a similar system into the Unreal Engine. On the surface, it seems that the main core of this is to know the character's float variable while it's falling onto the ground, and then just to trigger the wind loop at the designated moment. Similarly for the landing sound, where it can be determined by the velocity and just swap conditionally based on it. And with some help from the audio community, I was able to develop this blueprint that can calculate how fast the character falls. First, it checks if the character is moving downward direction, which is in negative number, and if so, is it also falling? And once we determine everything is true, it's getting a line trace from the character itself to the ground with event tick. Once everything goes through, I'm getting all the falling distance whenever the character falls, and that means every time, even just falling from a stationary jump. So my way on solving this is just by putting all these greater equal and less equal nods where I can set a limit on how far from the ground the sound can be played. So here I have between 40 to 50, 60 to 70, and then a higher one, 80 to 100, just in case the character would go to a higher ground. The branches here just to check if the character reaches to the designated distance or not. If so, play it. If not, go to the next distance. Now this setup also creates a small problem. Say the character reaches around 90, which is one of the highest distance I set up in here. What will happen next is that when it's falling, it will not only play the sound at that height, but also the rest of the sound because it's approaching to the ground continuously. So in order to mask it and not break an immersion of wind loop, I just add the fade time for both play and stop action in each event so that I can create a crossfade effect between each sound to keep the loop going. And then just put a play once nod to prevent the sound spawn in multiple instances over event tick, and then reset it once it reaches on the ground. The landing part is pretty self-explanatory. Similar to the previous system, I'm getting the velocity from the character and just set up at which landing sound would play at specific speed. Combine everything together, I was able to create my own version of the Anthem falling landing system in this UE Stacko bot game. I was really happy with how this system worked out. Nonetheless, there are always improving on some optimizations here and there. But as of for now, this is a pretty doable system that can be used in scenarios where you're in need for some more interactive audio experiences. Thank you for sticking with me at the end of this walkthrough, and I hope you have a wonderful day.